How's it hanging, everybody? Welcome back to Tag Team, Pokemon Trading Card Game's premier podcasting trio. My name is Riley Hulbert, joined, as always, by my good friends, Mr. JW Kriewall and Mr. Andrew Mahone. Folks, how are we doing today?
Hey, doing great. Big dub for my Lions last night in Monday Night Football. Feeling good about my team. Feeling good about, the city I was born and raised in. About an hour away from Detroit. But yeah, I mean, got a great wife and kids, multiple. Things are good. What else can I say? Honestly. What else can I say?
Flubbed the entry, I feel like. We flubbed the entry here.
Well, okay. Imagine that I didn't. Because I think flubbing the entry is more so reflecting on you and your perception than it is reflecting on me and the reality. Thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know if I buy into that.
Okay. Well, agree to disagree.
How are you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I just, I don't have social media on my phone anymore. Again, it's like, been an off and on thing with me. Sometimes I get engulfed in a project and I feel like I have to have socials on my phone in order to like keep connections with enough people. Right? Because some people I can only contact through like Twitter DMs. Some people I can only contact through like Facebook DMs. Some people on Instagram. But like I really just ever since the Genodoc went down, I was like, nope, see ya, back off. Yep, all of it. And the Genodoc is what got me kind of like back on a lot of socials because I had to connect with a lot of different folks, right? So like, and then as soon as that deal was done, I was like, back off. So so like anytime I'm on desktop, that's my Twitter time. That's the time that I allow myself to pull up Twitter and like keep tabs on what's going on in the community. Because I don't like being totally disconnected, but something about the algorithm in my pocket, right? It's horrible, right? It's just mind numbing. And God,
it is.
Every time I pull it up, I see stuff that I just wish I hadn't seen, or it enrages me in a way. It's making me mentally ill.
Or it inspires you.
Or it inspires me. That's true.
Right?
Yeah, I feel that. I've deleted Twitter from my phone, and I have all their social media collectively on my phone per day capped at 20 minutes. So I have to use my minutes wisely.
Incredible. Yeah.
And you can technically override it, but I only have once, and that was because I was trying to show a picture to my friend from Instagram, so I bought the extra minute back. But like that's been helpful for me, honestly. And like I feel like it's surprisingly easy to just like be like, okay, yeah, the time's up, that's it. No more.
Did you say you bought the extra minute?
No, it's like I just got the I clicked the like 1 more minute button.
Oh, that actually sounds
not like
actually
fun. No, not a transaction.
No, that sounds like that's actually a really interesting.
That's an app right there.
Yeah, that's an app idea, right? You paywall yourself from your phone.
Yeah.
I wonder how that. I wonder how that could work.
Well, actually, there's this cell phone company. There's like all these kind of like cell phone companies that pop up.
True.
Right? They kind of like use all like the leftover data and stuff that's like around. I don't really know logistically how it works. All I know is that
the Mint Mobile
everybody's got one. Yeah, like Ryan Reynolds got a cell phone company. Andrew Yang has a cell phone company.
Everyone has a cell phone company these days.
Okay, but Ryan Reynolds is actually like a venture capital investor. Did you know that?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he owns a freaking soccer team, so like I guess this, and he owns a freaking like like gin like company. Like he owns like a bunch of different companies. So like yes, it doesn't surprise me that he also owns a cell phone company because he like owns a lot of stuff. And then like I mean honestly it's kind of genius because he kind of like comes into all these things that are just kind of like okay, and then he's like I bet you I could just do the advertising myself and I'd do a pretty good job. And it will cost the company like nothing because I'll just do it. You know, and sure enough, I think it works pretty well for him. But Andrew Yang's cell phone company, I know because like I have a old college buddy who is like working with Andrew Yang. So like I got to hear about this at my alma mater's homecoming. He has a cell phone company where it's like you pay X amount per month, right? But then like the less data you use or the less minutes you use, the less like of your phone you use, you get like a kickback back. So you literally only pay for like what you use. So it incentivizes you to use it less. It's like kind of a interesting way to do that. And yeah, honestly, it's been sick. Like I like open my phone. The things I let myself do on my phone, the news. I let myself do the news, right?
Gotta have the news.
Well, the news is just like, that's fine. You know, like I'm just gonna, and most of the days, these days, I don't even like looking at it. I certainly don't want to listen to the news because that's like, I feel like that's way too much of an affront. Like I'd rather like look at a terrible headline and be like, yeah, okay, we're gonna and we're past it, and I'm closing the app. All right, I'm done. Right, because there's almost nothing good on the news at all. So I could just open it, see the headlines, maybe pick an article that I'll dive into just to read some journalism. Feels good, and then I'm out. So I like let myself have that, but like after I've like looked at the news for the day, my cell phone is just like boring now. I like will open it. I'm like, yeah. Like, what do I'm just trying to waste time. And it's gotten me to start thinking about, like, well, what could I be doing that would be, like, or what could I be thinking about?
Yep.
Or, like, I don't need to be entertained right now. Like, I could just, why don't I just focus on what's going on in front of me?
One exercise that I've been doing, and some might say, of the three of us, I'm the most chronically online. But I think that's getting better. But one exercise that I've been trying is after a session, like a scroll session, I'll try to remember what I watched. And that's been very enlightening, right? And that has helped me a lot where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not actually watching anything of value. Like, or if I am, because I feel
you. I actually do feel you.
But and I think my algorithm has actually gotten better over the years to where it's more like, tech content and business content and things like that, like practical things. But I still have that, 15, 20 minutes go by, and I'll try to reflect on what I actually spent that time watching, and just not remembering and being like, okay, yep, that's probably about where I need to call it quits.
I think that's super valid. I mean, the algorithms these days are designed to just keep you scrolling, right? Just keep scrolling through the endless feed of videos and slop, and like, so I mean, it doesn't surprise, right? It doesn't surprise me to hear you say that in a way. And like, I don't think that necessarily reflects poorly on you. I think it's just like we have to take like active measures against that,
That's what I'm saying.
For yourself, Riley.
No, there's plenty of stuff that reflects poorly on JW, but like I guarantee like probably most of the people even listening to this go through a scroll sesh and couldn't tell you what they just watched like 5 minutes ago.
I thought you were going to say most people listening to this probably would reflect poorly on JW.
Well, that as well.
No, you're right.
As well. You're kind of like the heel of the podcast.
Yeah, true.
Let the who is not scrolled mindlessly throw the first stone,
Right.
And I have to say, we're all guilty. for sure.
Yeah.
But the admission from JW that he does this regularly, it was kind of caught me off guard. It's almost like an addict coming to terms with.
Hey, I'm trying to be vulnerable.
We're all
here.
addicted though.
Yeah, we're all addicted to something,
all addicted.
bro.
That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it's
That's
like,
why I have to delete the things from my phone. I mean, it's literally why.
That's,
right?
that's why I limited the time, right? Because I was
Well,
scrolling for so long.
It's crazy because I am, like, within the last month, I've noticed a change in myself where I like have picked up this thing. You guys might have heard of it. It's called a book. I've actually started reading a bit more, like in my evening hours.
Yeah, I started doing that a couple months ago. Around the same time, I limited my time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
been good. I mean, I have this commute. I go into the office two times a week. I have about a 45-minute to 55-minute train ride that I take into Hoboken. And so, yeah, I mean, that's like at the beginning of this job, it was probably just like 2 full kind of scroll sessions. Because what am I going to do? Right. I'm just kind of like sitting there. Maybe I'll like do some emails or something. But if I didn't have anything pressing for the workday, that was free time. Right. So I could just, scroll through TikTok or scroll through whatever feed I wanted to. But like really trying to be intentional with that time now, trying to do really anything, listen to a podcast or do, read a book, read my Bible, do memory verses, that kind of thing. Like really trying to be intentional with that time. Now that's I'm starting to feel that spill over.
Short form content, right? Like anything other than that kind of stuff, or like tweets or social media. Like I would rather, if I had to pick, like I would rather even just play like a video game, than like sit down and like scroll through Twitter. And is that like the most intellectually stimulating thing? Probably not, but at least I'm thinking, like I'm doing something. So it's just, I'm with you guys. So that's why I try and limit that stuff these days. But I feel like
I only
society's wired for it,
I know. I only bring that up because it's like not having Twitter on my phone. It's like sometimes when I do get on desktop and I pull it up, it's like such an affront
to the senses. Yeah.
To my senses. It's like
agreed.
Taking a big rip and you're like, dang, that's way too dank, bro. Like, absolutely not. No. There's a reason I quit this stuff. It's a reason I quit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
Wish I had it.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's crazy. Well, before we get in, things have been chill over here. So, not scrolling quite as much as you, I don't think, JW. So I don't have those.
That's okay.
15-minute reflections. But got a wedding coming up this weekend for my fiance's sisters. That's fun. I also had a really nice phone call actually, like just an hour ago, with a friend of ours, Otto. I got to catch up with him after kind of a long time of not really having a chance to chat too much. So that was really nice.
Wow.
And,
in the Diwali season.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. So did he call you or did you call him?
We were texting and we just decided that it'd be nice to chat. So
nice. That's really great. How's he doing?
He's doing good. Yeah, he's got a kid, and so he's not working right now, and he's just taking care of the kid, and he's kind of gonna be dad mode for the foreseeable future.
Dang, that's insane. Okay, I definitely need to reach out.
Yeah, he seems like he's doing really well. So, and it was nice to catch up. So, good friend Otto of the cast. And well, I think then we can start to dive in. Before we get into the meat and taters today, we thought it might be fun to do a little bit of a mailbag segment, you might call it. Take a look at some of our fave comments from our last episode. JW, you've been trolling through these. Any ones that stick out to you?
Well, we had a response, and I'm so sorry. Jeremy, Riley dragged you last week. I give you a lot of props. I give you like plus 1,000 R points with your response because you doubled down on how gimmicky and lame of a strategy that Riley employed on you at the Milwaukee Regional Championships. This is Jeremy here. I just didn't understand how the deck worked. I was just annoyed because I felt it was a lame and gimmicky strategy. It's something I had actually thought about before the tournament and thought no one would actually use such a lame strategy. So, props to you, Jeremy. Like, really just beating it down that Riley, honestly, this guy just plays for fun. Why did you have to use such a lame strategy against him? Why? Explain yourself.
I refuse. Yeah, it was the right play for that tournament, without a doubt. It was the right play for that tournament. So that's Jeremy did have a comment apologizing for coming off as rude, and I said as much on the cast, right? It's okay to be tilted after a frustrating loss, and it is a frustrating way to lose to like those sorts of retreat locks. So I get it.
Yeah, but plus 1,000 aura points. I read this comment. I'm like, that's sick.
Yeah, I agree, Jeremy. I am your ally in the future due to your extreme levels of aura.
If you're gonna be salty, just go all in. I think.
Commit. Yeah,
commit to it for sure. Let's see. We had some discussion on chess clocks as usual. Jesse chimes in here. We kind of roasted him a little bit. Just you wait, listeners. My next big finish is coming. Over under Jesse getting like a top 16 in the next in this season. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to get this up on our TCG gambling app, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you. Yeah. God, I would love to bet on this.
I won big on a Bond throws his headphones and causes a 59 card decklist penalty to lose in the finals. I had a big bet on that, and it paid off huge.
Yep. Yeah, that was a prop bet through our gambling app. Absolutely.
Over under top 16.
I would have spiked big on the DQ out of ASIM for marked sleeves, dude.
Over under top 16.
I'm kind of thinking like ASIM, like he makes ASIM, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Makes ASIM.
Yeah.
So not just top 16.
Well,
so he has to top cut.
Well, is ASIM top cut? Do you consider ASIM top cut?
Ish. Yeah. I say yeah.
So you can ASIM and then still get top 16. So okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
but you can also top 16 without making the ASIM.
I know. Okay. So I'm saying, let's say ASIM. What do we think? Guys? Jesse Parker, ASIM, in the next
until when?
8 months. 8 months. What? This season. So,
before Worlds. Worlds.
Oh, well, let's include Worlds because that's technically part of the season. Sure. Assuming he makes it there.
All right. Here's the deal: is you got me between a rock and a hard place right now because, like, when you ask me, do I believe in my friend Jesse and his ability to succeed at a tournament? The answer to that question is yes.
So what's the hard place?
But he keeps talking about freaking Miraidon. So like he won't stop talking about
But
Miraidon.
It could be good, dude.
No.
But have you considered it with Mega Manectric though?
And until he can prove to me that he is ready to move past Miraidon confidently, I am not feeling like I can make a bet on him to make ASIM. Though I know he is capable. Just look at the fact he just got second place at the Gym Leader Challenge 3K at Full Grip Games with a deck he didn't even, play any reps with until the day before. I know that Jesse can think outside of his own little deck that he likes for himself, but he needs to push himself to do that. And I think that that's going to be his next big breakthrough is when he commits to learning more varied strategies and really can make that breakthrough as a player.
So I think almost implicitly the safe bet is that you don't make ASIM just because of statistically there's just such low odds of making ASIM.
Some people have made,
right?
Some people have made ASIM 3 tournaments in a row.
I know. And those folks are playing at like a completely different level, and they're playing Guardy also. so like, to be honest, like I think you gotta be racking up games with Guardian. I've been saying this for the past year and a half. You gotta be racking up games with Guardian Dragapult to like put yourself in that conversation. And Jesse is not to this point. So I think first off, gotta pivot, Jesse. But even then, you're starting off a year and a half late, right? Like everyone else has been doing this
that's fine
for that long.
That's
so that's the thing is I think he can just re-roll come rotation. Like re-roll, new deck, new you, new year.
That's like 6 months from now,
you know.
You're saying he's got
right, so it's the next
season. Languish. He's got a language. So you're re-rolling after
rotation, and then the safe bet is that Jesse doesn't make ASIM this season because he'll figure it out next year.
Okay, well, all right. So it sounds like these two are not very high on you, Jesse. I think you're gonna do it, man. I believe. Just remember who believed, okay, when you reach the mountaintop. All right.
I have no shade. It's not like I'm rooting for Jesse to fail.
You're just saying statistically speaking. All right. Anyway, let's get into the real meat of the episode, brought on by this comment from Braden Whited. I want to know your thoughts on testing high ladder. You guys cut it off and never came back around to it. So in the last episode, we talked a little bit about the origin of how the group came to play the Mega Absol deck. It was very interesting. If you want to get, an in-depth review of that, go listen to last week's episode. But it was really, kind of generated all from playing ladder. And so we had kind of talked a little bit about that. I'll let you drive this conversation, Riley, on where you want to take this.
Yeah, I mean, so we did not come up with the Mega Absol concept, and not even really that. I mean, we got close, I would say, even after we got exposed to the deck, but it took some experimenting for us to really get there. Experimenting that we weren't doing going into the tournament, that we weren't feeling out 3 weeks ahead of time. We all were planning to play like Dragapult and Grimmsnarl and Goldango and Sarah, like all those sorts of kind of like standard expected decks going into the tournament, which is a fine tournament strategy, right? Like Gardevoir continues to be a like top contender in tournaments, and Dragapult Lance ended up still making ASIM with it. So like those aren't bad choices, but we didn't have like anything creative or spicy even on our radar. And it came across our radar because of the prevalence of this deck in the upper echelons of the ladder. So just to quickly recap, our friend Lance, who I'd been chatting with to prep more on the Dragapult side, had continued time after time in the 1900s ELO in Arceus tier to run into this Kangaskhan Absol deck. And we thought it was a meme, but it eventually started to rack up those wins, right? Which kind of piqued our curiosity. And so the kind of natural tug of war that jumps to mind for me is the value proposition of that high ladder testing, right? So like on one side, you're getting in the most games possible as frequently as possible. You don't have to wait for your friends to be ready. You get more exposure to like different ideas and like the other ways people are approaching the game. But on the flip side, like you're opening yourself up to the potential of your deck kind of getting out there and getting exposed. And like Lucas Jing even shared with me a story at Milwaukee about how he ran into someone on ladder, or his friend did, and they got milled with Great Tusk to just look at the deck list for only the purpose of looking at the deck list. And so I think it's worth opening that discussion of, when you get to that high ladder, especially at those upper tiers, you have a limited pool of players that you're running into. Is the value proposition of playing against those players worth the opportunity cost of like your concept getting leaked or getting stolen?
Yeah. What do you think, Andrew? I have, I certainly have thoughts there, but you look a little puzzled.
Yeah. The thing about it is, and you're looking towards Case, I mean, like, how did it affect him? I mean, he played the deck on ladder,
I don't
crafted
technically
got
know
really
if it
good.
was exactly Tord that Lance was hitting, but we strongly suspect it was.
I have to imagine it was him, and then does his class, shows off a version of the list. I mean, like, when you show off the version of the list on a class on Wednesday, like, the thing is, like, the concept is 100% there. The final list was not. And you expect that. I mean, we were looking at the list and I was like, this isn't going to be the exact 60 that Tords plays. It's going to be like, it's going to be some optimizations, some iterations further along the optimization line. And so, like, he's going to get you like 90% of the way there and then say, like, all right, I'm going the last 10% by myself. You guys, I got you here. That's what the class is for, right? And Jesse ended up, like, signing up for Tord's classes. So, because we were all into the deck and Jesse wanted to, like, wanted to actually hear what Tord had to say on it. So, like, Jesse signed up, got the whole lesson on the deck and all that. But, like, Tord still ended up finishing in the top 8 with his deck that he, was playing on ladder and then also leaked via his own class. So, from Tord's perspective, it is he got to have his cake and eat it too. He got to not only take the $3,000 from top 8ing the event, he also got to rake in another handful of thousands of dollars from his classes that he's doing, right? And then also got to promote his own class by showing, like, hey, I showed off the deck that I was going to play at this event, and then I did play it, and then I did top 8 it. So, like, it all kind of, like, this kind of, like, it's all promoting itself, right? Tord has figured out a very good business model for himself with these classes. It's kind of like it's a really there's only a few people in the game that can kind of make that business model work. And the thing is that it is a ton of work.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thing. It's not like Tord just, like, gets to just it's not lazy, right? Like, Tord is putting in a ton of work for these classes. That's why they have value, right?
Right.
Is because he plays the game arguably more than anybody else in the world at a very high level. So, and he takes the gameplay that he does very seriously, and then he also does a good job of, like, presenting the information in a way that is easily digestible for anybody who's intent on learning from him. So the question is then, and having talked to Tord, on the little video I did with him included, where he talked about being a world's finalist. I mean, we know from Tord's testing regimen is that he hardly tests in paper. It's almost entirely digital, and he just has a bunch of different sock accounts, and he just will grind them into oblivion, right? Now, the question is that the best way to go about preparing for an event? Like, I mean, you've got arguably the best player in the world does it that way, right? And the only way to get those amount of reps in is by testing online. It almost doesn't matter the ideas. I mean, because decks are rarely, like, so groundbreaking these days that it's like, oh, well, I had to keep that a secret because there's, like, there's like a tech that someone could play that would, like, totally destroy it, right? Like, I imagine that kind of situation does exist where it's like, okay, this strategy is totally broken for the event, but, like, we cannot show it on ladder because it is too easily teched against, and I think about, like, when JW and I played Rowlet and Lone Executor to Richmond, Virginia, like, that meta call for that event, like, we didn't play that deck on ladder. That deck was a secret amongst very few testing groups heading into the event. JW and I got together old-fashioned in paper and hashed that, like, list out.
6 hours, well,
like
into
6
the night.
hours.
Yeah.
And JW won the event because it was like an insane meta call for the event. And it was a deck that would have been pretty easily teched against if decks just, played a couple of key cards. You could even play like Stealthy Hoods.
Yep.
There's just stuff
That
you
would
could
have been
do,
tough.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's just stuff you could do. But JW wins the whole thing. I bubbled out a cut. I got 10th. And then Michael Zealy also ended up top 8 with the same list.
Brady Botner.
But then there was a different
Brady Botner made day 2 with the deck
first
list
ever
error.
top 32. Yep. First ever top 32 at a regional, Brady Botner. But then there was also a separate testing group that came to a similar conclusion about the deck, but different list.
Yeah.
And JW ended up.
Yeah,
overtaking them
I beat Ian Robb in top 8, I believe, and I think he actually had a pretty good deck for Mirror, but I because he had the Skeptile line, which I think the one issue, so not to go too far on a tangent, but the one issue with the Rowlet Alolan Executor deck is it took 3 manual attachments to get started, and you could just attack for 1 energy with the Skeptile and do pretty decent damage. So I don't know how that
didn't matter. We got there.
Yeah, we did,
so
for sure.
We had better list. We got there.
Yeah.
But that was the kind of deck that was like, if you start playing that on ladder, you like kind of change the whole format probably, like leading up to the event, because it's almost like that. But things were also smaller back then, so maybe they were more mobile. Like maybe the meta could shift faster because the regionals weren't multiple thousand people big. I'm just speculating, like that's possible, but also maybe not. Information is shared much more quickly now online than even it was like pre-pandemic. I mean, this was like 2019. It wasn't like ancient history. This was like one of the last regionals before the pandemic happened. And it's interesting to think about how players feel about showing off decks online. I think like long-winded answer there, but the kind of summation of it is that I think that for the most part, it doesn't matter. Deck lists are not that unique or that groundbreaking that like you can't just like grind and get the reps in. And at a certain point, like just grinding and getting the reps in is going to give you more of an advantage than the secrecy of your list. But there is a tipping point where the secrecy of your list, if it's that broken, does actually outweigh the reps. But it has to be
like how do you weigh that point though, right? Like the Tor deck was clearly an incredible call for the event, right? It had a 50% day 2 conversion rate, like unheard of day 2 conversion. Like how, and that's with people being more aware of it.
Okay, what do you think
like
our Rowlet Alolan
picking
Executor conversion rate was? It was probably 99%. It was probably 100.
For sure, but that was with the
literally,
deck leaking,
like,
right? And like
it was
people just
literally-
picking it up from the class without ever playing it.
Yeah. Our Rowlet Alolan Executor deck, I think it was 100% conversion, dude. It was like everybody who played that deck was like in the top 32 of the event.
I'm just saying, like how are you able to judge going into an event like what that tipping point is without getting those reps?
Well, because I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that they're right now. I think you also have to judge by like the depth of the meta too, and then where you're at in the meta as well, right? Because this was a somewhat unique event in that it was Milwaukee, in that it was the first tournament with the new cards, save for, of course, the Full Grip event. But this was the first official tournament with the new cards. So like that, you're kind of mixing in that, right? So that also like, really shrinks your subset of comparable tournaments, because you have people trying new things and experimenting with the new cards. But there are a lot of people that are, very comfortable playing what they have been playing all season. In this case, the Gardevoirs, the Dragapults, the Goldangos, and just changing a few cards from what comes out in the new set to like buff their deck and call it a day, right? So I feel like generally innovation is lacking by and large in the game right now. But in terms of like comparable tournaments, you're dealing with a different thing for Milwaukee because of the new format.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I just think it's like an interesting tug of war. And to be honest, like I think I'm more in the like get the reps in camp.
Yeah.
But I also think part of it is I don't think people take their decks from their opponents online like that seriously in terms of like trying to actually scout lists and stuff.
Yeah.
I even think back to like, and granted, this was a different time and it was expanded, but I think of back to when I won my regional and like the red card was kind of the tech that like pushed that deck over, right? And like really the origination of my deck, and it was refined further, but it was like taking a list off of some article and adding a red card, more or less, like taking the concept from some article online, adding the red card. And I played probably 200 games of that at least. I mean, I was no lifing for an entire winter break on the ladder, and nobody played the freaking red card, even though I was winning countless online games with it. So that there's kind of that element of it too, or like how much stock do people actually take in their opponents?
I don't think that
online.
much. I don't think that much, right? You see a deck, and I think the thing that tipped Lance and eventually the group off is that he was seeing it multiple times, right? He was seeing it over and over, multiple games against the same deck. And if it's beating you multiple times
because
in a
you
row,
got a 20-minute queue up there.
I know
you got a 20-minute queue at
Right.
High Ladder,
right.
right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
you're
that
literally sitting around just waiting for a game, and then when the only person you're playing is playing the same deck,
Yeah.
it's like,
And continuously improving with it.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to dismiss if it's just a one-off, right? I think any player.
But arguably, though, isn't that the people you want to see your deck the least? The people who are going to wait 20 minutes and put actual stock into what you're playing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So are you saying that you should be testing your ideas up to the point of seeing the same player over and over? You know what I'm saying? Like you should.
There's definitely argument of like, should you just concede if you like see the same guy over and over again?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I'm thinking, or definitely if you were Liam Halliburton or whatever, and you were playing against the Great Tusk, you probably should have just
scooped it up.
Like that's maybe like, okay, they're clearly fishing here.
Yeah. There's also an issue. Sorry, and this is tangentially related. There's also like no downside to conceding a game right now in live. So
I mean, you do lose your Arceus points.
You lose your rank, dude. People are trying to be high elo, dude.
Okay, well, but there's no like queue abandon like there might be in League of Legends or something.
No.
But you don't get a queue abandon in a league for surrendering a game. You get it for like leaving a game and abandoning your teammates. You can still surrender.
Okay, I don't really know how that all works, but I'm talking about like conceding a match early. Should Liam have conceded matches that he was playing against Grey Tusk that was going to mill his entire deck to get his exact 60? I mean,
I think if you run into the Great Tusk and it's clearly someone you played before and their goal is obviously to mill your deck and look at it, then I think it is reasonable to concede in that situation.
So what the real strategy is to try to grind your way to the 20-minute queues of Arceus and then play exclusively Great Tusk against the best players.
And just get everybody's
every top player.
Yo.
That's the actual the high tier meta turns into Great Tusk mill mirrors.
And then it's just a bunch of Great Tusk mirrors. There is something to be said for like, I'm just thinking, like how many times you ever lost to like Cynthia's Garchomp on TCG Live?
No.
No, it's just you, bro.
I have. But even if I lose to Cynthia's Garchomp, I'm not like, oh, I need to get that list. It's a broken deck. Like I'm like, it's, like, I was unlucky. I feel like that for a lot of decks, that's the case where players aren't necessarily going to take something seriously if it's just a one-off game on the ladder or something like that. I'm reminded, the regional I won in 2015, I also no-lifed an entire winter break playing Landy Bats on ladder. And that's just how I got
I
that
think-
deck to the point where I was like, I knew every single line, I knew every single matchup, I knew exactly why all 60 cards were in the list, and the iterations and the reps are certainly what led to the success. So I think, like, for the most part, the reps are going to be the best thing that you can possibly do for yourself. You look at Lance, like Lance got his hands on the secret deck, right? Via playing at the top of the ladder, was at the top of the ladder with Dragapult, considered switching off to play the secret deck, couldn't adequately wrap his mind around it and play at the same level that he was playing at with Dragapult in 7 days. So, like, ditched it and just decided to play Dragapult instead. And sure enough, finished top 16. So, like, he was right there in the mix.
Well, that's
Hit another freaking
because
Guardy
he
Jelly
just
and
played the
ace
deck.
him too.
Yeah.
Diabolical.
Because he just was playing the deck that he had the most reps
well,
with.
that's part
And
of
it's
this all
almost
too.
like-
That's part of this too, right? Is like, at what point? Let's say you got the list of the secret deck before the tournament. How far before the tournament would you be comfortable pivoting? Because I think a common refrain, especially, I'd say in certainly in the modern era, and we've talked about this a lot over the last couple of years, of like taking a deck and sticking with it, to the extent that you reasonably can, and just knowing, like you were talking about, Andrew, all the lines, why every card is in the deck. That's going to be largely more valuable. That comfort level that you have with an archetype is going to be more valuable to you than, by and large, coming up with the quote unquote correct meta play for a specific tournament. So, like, if you were to find one of these secret decks on the ladder, like, how comfortable could a player actually be in pivoting to that? I just don't.
I mean, it basically comes down to that you also getting the reps, right?
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
which kind of boils down to you also running the gauntlet on the ladder.
Yeah.
I do think there is an interesting, like, difference between the culture and even the systems now versus, like, when we no-lifed in our winter breaks, Andrew, and that's TCGO didn't have a real ELO system. Now, it did have a fuzzy sense of an ELO of, like, your most recent couple games, like you'd play better or worse players, but, like, it wasn't a actual, like, you would climb a rank over time and progressively hit, like, more specific people type of ELO. And so, like, just conceptually today, with TCG Live having that system, like, you're more likely to, like, encounter the same player over and over and over again at the high ladder, whereas I certainly didn't run into the same. I would hit some of the same players, like, occasionally, but, like, I could queue up expanded and keep hitting, like, different random people. And each individual random person probably wouldn't put much thought into it, but when you hit the same guy 5 times in a row, like JW was saying, that's what really gets your gears turning of, like, okay, like, why do I keep losing to this stupid Absol deck? I thought this was a meme. I was making fun of this in Riley's DMs yesterday, but I've been losing for the past 3 games.
Right.
So it's like,
It's true.
I don't know, it's just interesting push and pull, I think. But and then the natural counter argument, though, is that you want to get the reps against those players anyway. You want to play against the Lances on Dragapult because that's how you know if your deck actually will beat Dragapult.
Yep.
Exactly, right.
It's just interesting. It's just interesting. I think ultimately, like, the reps are still worth it, right? Like, always I would always say the reps are worth it, even at the expense of, like, the information game. Barring, like, extreme edge cases, but I don't know. I think
because you also are, like, in a situation where, like, okay, it's one guy at the tippy top of the ladder with the Absol deck, right? Or you as Lance, it's like you're trying to predict, like, do I tech for this? Like, this one guy, he's got, like, a secret deck. It's not like I know about it. But what do I change my 60 to accommodate for this guy? Like really?
Yeah.
Because this is just one guy at the top of the mountain, right? Like, we may meet in top cut or ace him, just like we met here on the ladder, but we have to play through an entire field of people to get there, right? So how much am I going to alter my 60 or my deck choice to accommodate for what I've seen here?
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's, I mean, we literally had that conversation with Lance even, of like,
Well,
is
because
it
Lance
worth?
was like, "Oh yeah, I might want to play the Klefki."
Yeah, like,
Right?
am I gonna play a tech card for like something that maybe 50 people are gonna play at this tournament, or 100 people are gonna play at this tournament,
Mhm.
and like,
Did he end up playing the Klefki?
no,
No.
because we thought, Lance and I talked about it more. We thought about like 100 some people might play the deck out of the field, and like that, our estimate was actually surprisingly close to reality. And it's like, okay, are you really gonna hit this before like the super late stages of the tournament? Like, is this card gonna add value for you? And yeah, he decided not to. But like, the real downfall of Lance was hitting another Guardy Jelly in ASIM.
Yeah.
When he just hit a Guardy Jelly in top 8, and that matchup is just atrocious. So Guardy Jelly's broken. I think that's the real lesson.
Well, I don't know.
folks.
We're talking about like metagames and things. It just seems like that. Yeah, the Gardevoir group shifts between, since Worlds, Guardy Jelly, and this like turbo, 3-4 candy version. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got a delivery. Special. Sorry.
I just think
Cookie.
Guardy's egregiously broken, to be honest. And I think if you're serious, you should be playing Guardy. If you're like seriously trying to win every tournament you go to, you should be playing Guardy nonstop every day.
Every single day. Yes. Hours.
But
a
here's
day.
my commitment, folks. Before my next regional, I'm not sure exactly. I'm thinking it'll be Toronto. I'm gonna hit that 1900 elo.
Bro, let's do it.
Okay.
I'll be up there with Lance.
We doing Toronto? Is that what we're doing? We're doing
Yes,
Toronto?
let's do Toronto, fellas.
Oh, maybe.
Come on.
Maybe. I'm not going to Vegas, so.
Not going to Vegas.
Or we could
Toronto.
do
I
Europe.
I could potentially have my batteries recharged.
We could do Europe. We could do
recharged by
a boys
Toronto.
European trip.
Listen,
London.
I don't know if this is the year
All I'm
for
saying
boys'
is-
European trip.
All I'm
boys'
saying is
Euro
before
trip.
my next major, whatever that may be, potentially Toronto, I'm hitting that 1900 elo, and I'm playing my deck.
I'm saying,
all the way
dude, that is
through.
I put that as a goal for me for every major tournament that I went to this year is to be in that high ladder, right? Make it to
What's your peak, JW?
like 1875, somewhere there. I just consider like getting to that like 1800 is like good enough. I mean, reasonably, that's like a reasonable, you're in the conversation of, top grinders of PTCG Live. But that has been brought up in a number of winner interviews over the last year of like, yeah, I just, played this deck so much and like grinded the ladder and my elo was, whatever number you want to insert. And I just felt really confident with the deck going into the tournament. And yeah, I think that is just a prerequisite for anybody going to a tournament that wants to get good. I'm a big fan of testing on the ladder. And so that should just be something kind of like a non-negotiable of like, even if you pivot off a deck, like getting that exposure, getting those good reps, like you're talking about, Riley, that's never bad. And so
No, I think whatever deck can actually get, if you're getting to like
Yeah.
mid 18 up,
Yeah.
Like 1850, 1900, 1950, like Lance peaked at like 1960 some, I think. Like whatever deck realistically was able to get you there, that's probably the deck you should be playing. You probably shouldn't pivot. I think Lance made the right call for himself to not pivot. And like, of course, he was 1950 elo with Dragapult, like you're not going to play the Absol deck at that level, even if you have like the general exposure to the metagame. You're just not.
Yeah.
So that's my commitment. It's not, let's say 1800. That's my commitment for surezies, but I'm going to aim for 1900.
How long do you think you could do it? Because when I did my ladder grind earlier for Pittsburgh, I just have to kind of spread it out, like I can't do it all in one day, or 2 days. Or
Yeah, it can't be in one day, but like, I will say I had a way better user experience of TCG Live with this past prep sesh for Milwaukee than I ever have using the game before. Especially once you get out of the Great Ball trenches.
Yep.
The Great Ball trenches is like seriously unfun. Seriously unfun stuff. I'm not saying TCG Live is a masterpiece. It's got a lot of room to grow, to put it bluntly. And the fact that there's no landscape mode for tablets is an affront to mobile development.
Yeah.
but it's a lot better. It's a lot better.
So, okay, Toronto. That's good. And that's where we can debut the new sleeves. The new sleeve brand we're cooking up.
Also, I just got to say it because we have some time. I've been playing Grimsnarl on the ladder more recently, and that deck is so fraudulent.
Dude,
that
it's so good.
I
What
think
are you
actually don't believe in
talking
yourself
about?
as a player if you play this deck. It's completely out of your hands if you win your games or not.
What are you talking about, dude? You're crazy. The deck is
man,
so
That's
good.
how JW top 32 with
The
it.
deck is so
Nah,
good, bro. The deck is so good.
The deck is a roulette. Like you're literally
you have no
just
idea.
hoping
You
that
just-
you draw your draw supporter off your
Yeah.
previous draw
Yeah, well, it's like any other deck right now, except the decks with draw engines.
Nah, man. Guardy can play entirely off the board. A Grimsnarl could get knocked out, and like you have no way to get another one.
Nah, dude, you
know?
play off the board. You play off the board because your spike move's stuck. Okay, chill.
If the spike move, I agree with you. If the spike move sticks, you can play off board. But if that thing gets bumped and you don't have a draw supporter in hand, it's the most tilting experience that maybe I've ever had.
Yeah,
playing
okay,
this
so
game.
you sack a monkey. Whatever. You just do it all next turn. It's fine.
I'm a fan of the filch,
Hey,
because really I don't want to see just my top deck. I want to see two top decks.
true. Hey, a filch can get you out a lot of spots, right? It's like your opening hand is not 7 cards. It's 8 cards. And sometimes that 8th card is just what you need.
Yeah, so anyway, Grimsnarl is extremely fraudulent. is my point.
You're crazy. I think that.
And I actually think low-key all the dark decks are a little fraudulent. I think Absol is maybe the least fraudulent dark deck.
Well, no, but Absol's the most easily countered. Like, I think there might be an argument for Charizard to be the least fraudulent, which is crazy. Because that deck has just been
Charizard's.
hated.
I think
out
Charizard's
by
actually pretty good.
Dragonball.
Lance and I were testing Charizard before Milwaukee.
I don't think I could be a Charizard head. I'm just not.
I said that the only stage 2 that was interesting me leading up to Milwaukee was Charizard. It's the only one.
So basically, the thing with Charizard is you lose ridiculously bad to Dragapult, even with the duck. But if you're willing to like take the auto loss, then you're good in every other matchup in the format, pretty much.
Yeah, interesting.
Right. Yeah, you're getting absolutely destroyed by Dragapult, but like otherwise,
Yeah, I'm talking like 20% win rate type stuff.
not good. Like, do you even play the duck at that point?
Low key, I don't think you do.
Like,
It's just not even worth it.
like, what's it really doing, man?
Well, you need to
No,
get. you need
Lance
to
and I
get.
tested it. It doesn't
you
do
need to get
anything.
Duck plus Mist. And then
That's
even
like
then they could play
the
Fire.
potential route, but like realistically, like you're getting item locked and they can gust it, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
So like, don't
Yeah.
even tech, bro.
I mean,
Just be a boss.
Jackson didn't tech. He played his own. He played his own Duststar line.
For sure.
So, yeah, Charizard's pretty good. I will say
All right. Well,
that's.
sounds like we got some more refinement to do on the topic as we grind out the ladder for upcoming tournaments. Next one for me is going to be Vegas. I know you guys aren't going. Sounds like maybe the boys trip to Toronto could be in the works. That could be pretty fun. And we'll see how we do at these events with this kind of new theory. It's very very captivating, and obviously like that's what I find to be the most fun about Pokemon and trying to keep involved in the game is these kinds of stories, creating these kinds of moments, right? Of like, hey, this little side quest I went on, of creating this deck that I found on the ladder, and then I brought it to a tournament, and I did, I had this experience at the tournament. Like, that is all kind of fun to me, and that's regardless of how, I would have performed at Milwaukee. I know, obviously there was varying levels of performance among your group, but just to be a part of that, I just think that's like really fun. Like, that's a really fun story. That's why I love this game so much. And, I'm always hunting for that next experience like that.
I will say, like, the experience of kind of like finding the deck and us talking about it as a group and everybody like having their own little ladder journey and updating about their ladder games. Like, there was something just like so fun about that whole lead up experience to me. Like, I felt so energized about the game leading up to the event, and yeah, that was fun. So I'm hoping we can capture some of that magic again.
Yep. Catalyzing for sure. So any final words there, Andrew, Riley, before we close it out?
We've got Phantasmal Flames testing. I'm starting with Jesse on Wednesdays. Tricky Jim. Excited about that. So if anybody wants to tune in, it'll be the next couple Wednesdays. Going to be hosting Jesse in the studio, live on Twitch and YouTube, to see what our Phantasmal Flames format looks like. We've got Vegas coming up. Both Jesse and JW going to be at Vegas. But Vegas is just, I think, 2 weeks before the set actually comes out. It's
like the set itself comes out that week or something, yes, but it's not actually legal.
Yeah.
Not legal for 2 weeks, but it is like the set release weekend is Vegas.
Yeah.
So Vegas is taking place in like a dead format, basically, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then,
well, this format went by way too fast, in my opinion. But anyway,
well,
the
it's
sets
a very
were weirdly
short window
close
between
to each
sets,
other. Yeah.
Which doesn't bother me, and I think that's actually exciting. But it's just not something that we usually get. I think like Pokemon Japan's release schedule of sets is like awesome. Like, they get new cards every 6 weeks in Japan. It's like crazy. But anyways, yeah. So I'm excited to see what's looking good in Phantasmal Flames, and Jesse and I'll be showing those decks off. And then, of course, we've got the Phantasmal Flames doubleheader coming up at Full Grip Games. Going to be the week after Vegas. Usually we host these tournaments on release weekend, but decided not to stream or host against Vegas in case any players really wanted to go to Vegas. But there are tournaments back-to-back weekends there, so it is going to be the same weekend as LAIC, but I think less players generally are going to be traveling from the Northeast Ohio region to LAIC generally, so it's not as much of a conflict scheduling there. So those tickets are available now, fullgripgames.com, if anybody wants to check them out. Going to be streaming and hosting that the weekend of LAIC. So very excited about things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final words, JW, from you?
Nah, dude. I just like play Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Play your poke. Play your poke. I'm going to be playing poke. Andrew's going to be playing poke. Riley's going to be playing poke.
And JW's going to hit 2,000 ELO before Vegas.
I'm going to be the first person to ever hit 3,000. Do you think 3,000 is possible, or is there a cap?
I literally don't think it's possible, though.
Is there a cap?
I think unless you like rig the whole system, that the amount that you would lose versus gain would be astronomical. Like, you would need probably like a 50-1 win ratio.
Well, so you're saying there's a chance. Anyway, I hope there's a chance that you will subscribe to this podcast or leave us a comment, leave us a rating on your favorite podcasting platforms. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. You can find us on X as well, at Tag Team Pokemon for the podcast, at Smiles with Riles for Riley, at Enjoy Friend for Andrew, or at Real John Walter for myself. Thank you guys all so much for listening.
We appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.